Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I've come to a small village in Barnsley, somewhere that my parents used to live probably about 15-16 years ago, and today Mum and I thought we'd just have a little trip down memory lane and maybe hit a few of the local shops that we used to frequent when they lived here. But before we do that, because I know some of you will be bored rigid after my Costco video, sorry about that and all. But before I do that, I want to just tell you a little bit of history about this area. Today is bitterly cold, but it's probably not too unlike the day where this small village in South Yorkshire witnessed what was one of the worst industrial disasters this country has ever seen, just over 150 years ago. February 19th, 1857, and about 220 miners arrived just down there in that valley somewhere for what they thought was going to be a normal day at work. Some of the miners were as young as 10 years old. I can't get my head around that. My son is 8, and to think that, in 2 years' time, he could have been sent off to work. Yeah, doesn't really bear thinking about, does it? Noon came and 22 miners left to have dinner at home, leaving 200 colleagues who ate their meals at work. 20 minutes past 12, and a violent explosion shook the mine to its core. The blast sent a tower of flames 30 metres up through the pit shaft, lighting up the countryside for miles around. Many were killed instantly, some when the roof collapsed. Many suffocated. The rescue teams entered the mine in hope of finding survivors, and that they did, successfully extracting 19 miners. Sadly, 2 later died in hospital. Crowds of up to 15,000 people congregated to try and comprehend what was unfolding before them. After failed attempts to extinguish the flames, eventually a local stream was diverted to flood the mine, making the recovery of the bodies an impossibility until the mine was drained 2 months later. In total, 189 miners were killed. Do you know, when I say miners, it kind of, I always think that applies older people, and I should say in total 189 men and boys, because there were children, there were young kids that were killed in there. They recovered the bodies of 185, 4 of them were never found. I parked up at Wombwell Hillies Golf Club. It's just a small 9-hole golf course, and there is supposedly a memorial around here which I've not found yet, and I've asked a few people and they don't actually know where it is either. So the memorial was placed up here because it looks down onto the valley where the disaster happened, and it was to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the disaster. But I don't know where it is. I really need to have a mooch round and have a look. It's quite a nice little entrance into the clubhouse. That's quite a special view. Much golf action happening today. I've just spotted the memorial. It's tucked away in the corner. Here we are. What does that say? 92 widows and 180 orphaned were left destitute. The mine was flooded to extinguish the flames. This memorial commemorates the Lundhill colliery disaster of February 19th, 1857. 189 men and boys lost their lives. When fire engulfed the mine, 18 survived and 4 bodies were never found. actually a nice memorial, that. It's a nice design, but tucked away in a corner. I'm not surprised people didn't know where it was when I asked them. Now, those of you who are familiar with mining disasters and just mining history in general will probably be shouting at your screen saying, but Rebecca, that's not the worst disaster in that area. And no, it isn't. Not far down the road is Barnsley main colliery. It was actually the location of Britain's worst disaster. I think there was 361 miners killed there. But the reason I've chose the Lundhill colliery disaster is basically my mum and dad lived virtually right on top of it. Now, that's not their house or farm, but yeah, they just lived up there on that hill. The area we are in is called Hemmingfield. It's a really lovely place, to be fair. Got lots of fond memories here. So Mum and I, when we were chatting about things to do the other day, we just said, right, well, let's go down memory lane. We can hit the shops, we can go and see some of the shops that we've not been to for a long time. There's a little retail park down the road called Cortonwood, which is really, really good. We used to go regularly there. But before I bore you all rigid with countless shopping videos, I thought I would bring you here and tell you a little bit about this place. During the 19th century, coal mining was very much the backbone of industrial Britain. And it was probably one of the dangerous, most hazardous jobs that you could have had. This is a row of cottages. I think this is called Pit Lane, and these were built for miners working in Hemmingfield colliery. People were often living in fear of explosions and roof collapse. In fact, my great-granddad was killed in a mining accident. He was crushed to death. I think he was only in his 20s, and he left my grandma and her twin brother. They were only about 6 months old. But he was crushed in the mine. He wasn't killed at the scene, but he was taken to hospital on a horse and cart. And my God, you can't even start to imagine how painful that must have been for him. But yeah, he later died in hospital. But the cause of Lundhill colliery disaster was something called fire damp. It's a term that I'd not heard of before, and it ultimately means a build-up of flammable gases, mostly methane. Yeah, that's why they used to have the canaries in little cages down there, isn't it? But obviously they would also have open flame lamps. So there was just that constant risk of explosion. It must have been terrifying. So I've come to Darfield Parish Church due to the number in fatalities at Lundhill, and at that time Wombwell, the local town, didn't actually have a burial ground. So the bodies were brought here and they were buried in a mass grave. It's actually a really pretty church. It's not an area that I know well at all, but just this little nook where the church is, it's quite pretty. So I can see I think there are 2 monuments here. One of them is the large obelisk just down there. So we'll go and have a look at that. It feels weird coming to a church and it not being open. I don't know if that's just a temporary thing because I'm a little bit early, but we like a good look around a church, don't we? Right, I'm going to have to brave the snow and the mud. Actually, it is thawing out very quickly. erected to commemorate the Lundhill explosion of February 19th, 1852, in which 189 men and boys lost their lives, of whose bodies 146 are buried near this place. "90 widows and all those children left without the dads." I think in some cases there were families that lost all of the male members of that family. And I read also, I think it was the Keller family, they lost 7 sons. As a mother, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the death of any child, let alone 7 in one horrific disaster? Oh, gosh. A lot of the widows remarried quite quickly, and it's one of those things that today would be quite frowned upon, but I think if you take into account when it happened, the women often wouldn't work and they were slowly relying on the men's earnings from the pit, and so it was probably remarry or starve. So the disaster had a really big impact, not just on the local area, but on Great Britain in general. And they actually set up a disaster fund for the families, and Queen Victoria and Prince Albert made quite hefty contributions by all accounts. But yeah, they also had investigations, obviously, into the cause of the disaster. And I think there were so many contributing factors that they couldn't actually pinpoint one specific reason. It was not supposedly the safest colliery in the area. It was a very deep colliery, and yeah, I don't think they stuck to the health and safety rules very well, the staff. Yeah, so in the end they just put it down to accident as opposed to any criminal negligence. But because of this disaster, and it takes things like this for there to be reform, I suppose. It still happens today, doesn't it, when terrible things happen, I suppose, like the Grenfell fire, and look at the reform that's initiated with the cladding on buildings. So as horrible as it is, it often takes a disaster to provoke action into trying to prevent these things in the future. Obviously it didn't really prevent the one down at Barnsley, Maine. That was, what year was that? I think that was about 6 years actually afterwards, if I've got my dates right. I love it when it snowed. It's always, I love that peacefulness that snow brings, especially when it's just fallen in an evening and everything's really, really quiet. Don't particularly like going out in it, but that's beside the point. It looks pretty, doesn't it? I think it's really important that we remember these events. They don't really talk about them a great deal, particularly in schools and things. There doesn't seem to be a great deal about local history anymore. I don't know, just to make a note of how far we've come, I suppose. Yeah, the progress that we've actually made. I suppose some people would say in certain areas we've gone backwards, but in general, the fact that we've not got 10-year-old boys going to work down a mine is a big win in my mind. I've just read a headstone. This is completely unrelated to what I've been talking about, but I thought I would share it because it's, yeah, a little odd. I'm not saying funny because it's definitely not funny. Can you read that? The mortal remains, here lies the mortal remains of Robert Millthorpe, who died September 1826, aged 19. He lost his life by inadvertently throwing this stone upon himself whilst in the service of James Raywood of Ardsley, who erected it to his memory. Wow, so the cause of his death is now his headstone. That's very odd. Anyway, I have to say, I'm cold, I'm hungry, and I'm missing out on some shopping. I've got to go and find my mum before she bags all the bargains. Right, let's go get a coffee because I need a warmer. I've just pulled up at Cortonwood and Mum is in Matt and Allen in the cafe. I'm hoping that she's got the coffees in. There she is. Oh darling, have you been sat there long? Have you not got coffees in?
I've had one earlier. What do you want?
Oh, it's alright.
No.
We'll have a chat.
Oh no.
What? You just realised you're on camera?
Yeah. What do you want?
I'll get it. Well, I desperately need this, and I've got a nice mince pie. I love mince pies. I'm so upset thinking I might not be able to have decent mince pies this year, but they're actually quite good. Don't they? I don't take my hat off because I've got my hair will be hat hair. Oh dear. I needed this. See, they do have good Christmas stuff here, don't they? Oh, doggy things.
Yeah, they're nice. The Christmas.
They're good, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, the cushions are a bit.
Are they a bit naff? Oh, another mince pie. I've just eaten that.
Oh, they're cute, but two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two tweak. What? Oh, these Christmas jumpers. They're a bit similar to what we bought from. Where did we get it from? Home Bargains. Ours is not same colours.
What's ours got on it?
I don't know.
It's not as nice as that, is it?
That's nicer than ours. It's similar colours, but that's got shuntleys on. That's
yeah,
two
these are children's. I think
No, they've got adults as well. They've got full family.
they're more expensive. £22. That's a lot dearer than we paid.
I had to get Edward a Team Naughty. Team Nice, Team Naughty. Good those, I like them. Only £9 that one. It's 15. Is there anything we can't live without? Oh, that's gorgeous.
It is lovely, isn't
Oh,
it?
that is lovely. I wouldn't call it an investment piece.
No, but it's 40 something.
Yeah, that's pricey.
With
isn't
20%.
it? And there's a
off, so
mini
it's-
one here. What's
Yeah, it's
that?
not as nice. I don't like that.
Yeah,
That's-
it looks
that'd
like
have to-
it looks like a bit of a
Yeah,
yeah.
afterthought.
mini one.
Yeah, they're cute.
How much are they?
Why don't they go in for prices?
Prices.
I think if they haven't got a price
Are they
on
like
them-
underneath or something?
No,
Surely they've got to have a price on them somewhere.
she looked on here and she... But I couldn't see the price.
Honestly,
It's-
that's ridiculous.
That's the dent put price on, you see. I always think.
How on earth?
Oh, there.
Ah, right.
There. Oh, no, it's not there.
It's not. They must be free.
They-
It's a bit random. That is weird. Sorry if you've bought one. I think these are nice. Oh! Oh no, I've decapitated a soldier. Oh, Mum.
His head.
Where's his head? Oh no. Oh,
Look, nobody will know.
Stick it to its bum.
It's alright. I don't think you did that. I think
I did.
somebody else has done it.
Oh no, I didn't do it.
Don't say you did it on
No,
camera.
I didn't
You
do it.
didn't.
Not guilty.
Oh, they're sweet.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I like those
I
under
like
the tree.
those, yeah. Oh, I'm really gutted I've decapitated a soldier.